For my research project, I have decided to take a more macabre route since I am a pre-pharmacy student, and I've decided the best topic for me will be medieval medicine. And if you thought medicine today was weird, this time period's healthcare system is even weirder. Prior to the 20th century, science and medicine was a new concept and wasn't that greatly appreciated than it is today. If you were a person who uses logic or reasoning, you were often considered a witch or just insane. So through the 5th and 15th century, there was no Dr. House, there was no Nurse Jackie, or really any rational thinking doctor because not a lot of them were around. And not only were you not allowed to use logic or reasoning, WebMD wasn't invented yet. Actually, the whole internet wasn't invented yet. I'm not even sure how news spread around this time. So onto the actual research assignment. This animated abomination, feature, will go through some of the practices that medieval doctors have used back in the day. So put on your plague mask and jump into your time machine as we explore ancient medicine. Astrological medicine. Most doctors around this time period were some sort of religious or spiritual figures. Monks and astrologists were in charge of someone's life. They believed that the zodiac controlled certain parts of the body, and surgery depended heavily on the moon phase. How this practice works is, say you walked into the doctor's office with a migraine. The doctor would then decline to see you because the planets and constellations were not aligned properly. And you couldn't be treated unless it was on migraine day, which could be a month from the day you first came in to see the doctor. This medicine is also very controversial on when to give certain medication because you dare prescribe a painkiller on March 3rd, and today's Constipation Day, and we're only treating constipation on March 3rd. This practice went on for about 300 years because eventually a person sued a doctor for cutting off his thumb because the moon said so. So then a law passed saying that doctors were not allowed to use an astrological medicine anymore. The war on childbirth. There weren't a lot of women in the medical field because a common belief at the time was women were made for cooking, cleaning, and childbearing. However, there were a few midwives that were women. However, men, the working gender, had problems against this because this was a man's job. Female midwives' argument was the men midwives wanted to see the patients naked. Ew, have you seen childbirth? It ain't pretty. A law passed saying that women can no longer be midwives. However, male midwives had to dress up as a female to seem less intimidating. Yeah, that makes sense. Surgery. Anesthesia wasn't invented until the mid-1800s, so a century and a half after the medieval period. So how is a doctor to perform surgery on a patient? Unchain your obscenity. To watch them suffer in pain as men pin the patient down and doctors decide to do the dirty work. Allow what your fate can bring. Now, you're caught inside my cage. But don't worry, sometimes there was a person to sing songs or tell jokes in order to make the pain less unbearable. Hey Bardman, sing us a song while Jimmy has his appendix taken out, will ya? Ah yes, don't you feel better now, Jimmy? The elf banning movement. The elf banning movement. In the 9th century, a doctor came up with a fan fiction of a sickness called elf sickness. in which a person has stopped moving and stood like a statue. I think that's called death, buddy. Elf sickness was spread by tiny little elves throwing darts at random individuals. The cure for the sickness is you must find a cave of the elves only on Wednesdays. They also wanted you to wear pink, and they are very gullible creatures. Your goal was to find this plant, but you can't speak to any of the elves once you find this plant. And you had to make this drink and force it down the elf's elder's throat and make a run for it. I am not making this up. This is an actual noted practice during this time period. Heartbroken sickness.
Bound together, the darkest embrace, bound forever, we will be chased. I
Aw man, did you get dumped, Johnny? You seem depressed all the time since Millie didn't see you as a perfect partner. Do you listen to My Dying Bride and still don't feel the need to go on? That's okay, Johnny, because you have heartbroken syndrome. And don't worry, there is a cure for this, and it may be gross. But here, this is all you have to do. You have to smell a woman's menstrual blood and poop, and you'll go on with your love life and meet another woman who will sure love you. Johnny, you're still depressed? Don't worry, we hired an older woman to harass your ex, and that will surely make you feel better. The plague! Modern scientists nowadays know how the bubonic plague was a bacterial infection. However, medieval doctors had a few other ideas on how it spread around. Number 1. Any thoughts of the plague or even looking at the infected? Number 2. The Jews, because why not? Number 3. Taking a bath. Number 4. The wrath of God or some sort of higher deity. Number 5. Bad smells. Oh, no wonder Johnny wasn't happy. Not only was he heartbroken, but now he has the plague. So a third of Europe died because of the first plague, then followed by another 2 more plagues similar. That was medieval medicine in a nutshell. Things were really bizarre back then, and I like to think of it more of a stepping stone on how science evolved because there were so many medical discoveries after the first plague. Though I should probably send you back to your time period now since things are starting to smell a bit funny and I don't want you getting the plague. So as a thanks for going on this medical journey with me, here's a lollipop and come back soon.